but then the next two drives resulted in touchdowns defensively. And I think just talking on that side of the ball, didn't tackle well. That side of the ball, obviously, Tucker's a great player, an All-American type running back, and we knew that coming in. And I think now the Schrader, the quarterback, obviously a good talented runner as well. Thought he played really well against us, one of his better games, throwing the ball. Negative against him was, again, tackling. Several times we had third and long, and we got guys right there. We don't wrap up, and he's able to get out and get first downs to extend drives. Disappointing. Offensively, disappointing the fact we had some procedure penalties there. Obviously, the environment had something to do with that. Knew it was going to be loud. Worked on it last week in the indoor. Cranked the crowd noise up, music up loud. Couldn't hear anything in there either. So we were prepared for it. But obviously, when it's a game time, things are a little bit different. And very disappointed on the goal line. We get down there on the 2-yard line and we get a false start. You back up 5 yards right there. Obviously, it's hard to score as it is. So don't shoot yourself in the foot with that. Then I think in the second half, you're still relatively close game to 2 possessions there, but we just never did move the ball. Had the ball 9 minutes in the third quarter, just couldn't get it in the end zone. So again, didn't play well. Give credit to Syracuse; they came out and played really well, and we did not match that intensity. We got to do better. This week, playing Central Florida, another environment that will be challenging when you think about all the things they've got going on down there, the bounce house. Had a big win last week against South Carolina State, put up some great numbers offensively and defensively. New quarterback that transferred in from Ole Miss, a better runner than Schrader from Syracuse. He's faster. I think there was a couple games when he was at Ole Miss against LSU, maybe rushed for about 250 yards, 200 right around there, 230. So he is very, very fast. They have some great speed on that side of the ball at Central Florida. Think about receivers. Number 4 can go, but they have others too. Their big back, I think it's Zero, who's a bruiser. They go fast tempo. Coach Malzahn does a really good job with that. Coming off a big bowl win last year against Florida, and then obviously the first win they had at home. So they'll be a well-rested team. They played last Thursday night, and then and probably rested their starters in the second half when you go back and watch the film. So it'll be a big challenge for us this week. Obviously, to get ready. We have to have a great week. It's a lot more mental this week, coming off a short week, having to get on a plane on Thursday. So we practiced Sunday, we practiced yesterday, and today. So there won't be a day off in between that. So you got to practice every single day to get ready, which is a little bit different. You think about a 6-day turnaround. But with that, I'll just open up the questions.
Scott, given that the emphasis coming off of last season was, being a little bit more physical, more aggressive, better tackling team, why do you think it was that, given that was like the bulk of the defensive emphasis, that you guys tackled so poorly against Syracuse?
Yeah, well, I think they had a little something to do with it. I think Tucker's a really good back, runs low, solid to the ground. Didn't wrap up there at times, and they did a good job. A couple of their plays where they removed him out. Now there's one guy misses, you don't have the rest of the team there to rally. And we missed on the screen play. It was about a 54-yard play for a touchdown. And then the other thing that really hurt us was the scrambling of the quarterback, where we had him in the backfield several times. He's a big kid. We just didn't wrap up, and we got to do a better job wrapping up.
It's not a popular theory is that a team improves the most between the first and second game. Have you found that to be consistently true with your teams in the past? And if so, why do you think that is?
Yeah, I hope so. I think, because you never really know how a team's going to come out and play the first game, and I think when you come out, whatever mistakes, whatever you got to get better at, it shows up. It shows up in that first game. And I think there's a little bit of a check where a guy said, listen, we got to get better at this after it shows up. Hopefully we'll get better after that first game. I think, in a sense, is positive the fact we had to go on the road in a hostile environment. We got to do the same thing again this week. hopefully we'll learn something from that, as coaches and as players, to know what we're getting ready to get into. Obviously a team that's got a lot of confidence that we're going to play at home. I think maybe 31-2. That's their record at home the last 5 years, including this season. So they have not lost many games there, so we better be ready to go.
How was the team when you brought them back yesterday? What's their mood? Nobody's happy, I know, but how did they approach practice?
Yeah, I think Sunday, was everybody's obviously very disappointed and hurt. And I think yesterday we came back and very good practice yesterday. A lot more upbeat, a lot more energy. They lifted weights yesterday as well, and then went out there on the practice field and had a really good practice. It was focused, intent, got after it, which is what you want to see. You can't continue, you can't be down in the dumps knowing that we didn't play well, because we know what will happen if you're like that all week long. You go down there with no excitement, no juice, no energy, you're going to get beat bad. And so you got to have that juice, you got to have that energy, you got to bring it all week. And I think our guys yesterday did that. They're excited to get on the practice field and try to get better.
Following the game, when you review film, do you see things there that make the coaches think, okay, maybe we need to change this up? I think there was like 8 of 11 first downs were runs. Do you think about mixing that up a little bit more?
Yeah, no, we certainly go back and look at it and see, see what we could have done better. Anytime you don't have success, you'll second guess a lot. I think fans do it, media does it, coaches do it. Because you got to figure out, well, what could we have done better? And I think we offensively we did some things good. Tyon only had 13 carries, right? Close to 100 yards. I mean we only ran 24 plays in the first half, and that last drive was kind of a 2-minute scenario. So really only 3 drives in the first half that were conventional. And we scored on one of those, and we got down in the red zone on the other, just didn't punch it in. So we just didn't have the ball a ton. We never could get in that big time rhythm. As I look back, yardage-wise compared to last year against Syracuse is about the same. We just scored touchdowns last year, and we just couldn't get it in the end zone. We had the reverse pass to T. Huddy that got down there and didn't score. We had the one big play with Tyon, and then at times we moved the ball well, and then we'd shoot ourselves in the foot with a penalty or something and get backed up. But certainly would like to mix it up more. Have more of the pass, more of the variety that we need to have. But that comes with more plays too, when you can get more of those rhythms, and we just couldn't get in the rhythm.
Scott, given that it is sort of a mental week, how do you, with Bowser being such a physical runner, how do you guys meet that physical challenge given that you can't really physically practice like that?
Well, I think you just got to get your mind made up that it's going to be that way. That you're going to be having to tackle a big back right there that's running hard every time he runs. He's a very hard runner. And you got to have your mind made up before you even get on the plane to go, we got to play physical, and we got to come bring it. We got to bring energy and the physicality every single play. And I think that's got to be the case, because we can't strap it on full and go tackle this week. You just can't. You want to be fresh, but I think you have to have your mind made up that it's going to be a physical football game. And you have to bring it every single play.
You mentioned the players being disappointed afterwards. When the group gets together, do the players speak to each other? Are you seeing any signs of leadership of older guys saying what happened wasn't acceptable?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We had that on Sunday when we got back here, where the guys, got together. I think it happened offensively and defensively. What ends up happening too is everybody wants to figure out what happened, and how can we get better with it? Coaches are doing that, obviously, but the players do it. When the players do it, it's a lot better, when it's coming from them. But again, I think the guys bounce back really well. I think they're disappointed, and they realize, hey, what we got to do, we got to practice better. We got to get a better plan in, and we got to go execute that plan. And I think a lot of it's just mental, getting their mind made up to go do that, and anything they can do to make themselves better. I think. Again, there were some good bright spots out there. We got to dwell on those, and we got to continue to get better. But we got to go out there and make plays. We got to tackle better. Offensively, we got to get in the end zone. And if you do those things, then you're obviously going to have to give yourself a better chance to win.
Scott, some of the issues that were on display against Syracuse seem to be some issues that you guys had last year. Were you surprised by that at all after some of the changes you've made on staff? And I guess, is that make you reevaluate any approach or anything at all?
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit surprised we didn't tackle better. I thought we would have tackled better against these guys. Again, there was times we had them in the backfield, sacked. There was one time on the goal line, probably would have tackled them on about the -2. He gets out of it, he scrambles for about 12 and gets the first down on their sideline to keep their drive alive. We got 2 guys right there. I mean, good players. Monty, Yaya, they're right there. And, I was just disappointed that we didn't make those plays. And those guys are capable of making those plays. They've made them in the past. And, to come up short and not be able to get them down. And, and again, we're playing a guy that's faster this week. I mean, this is one of maybe the fastest quarterback we've ever played against. I mean, he can fly, and he runs like a skilled wide receiver that's playing quarterback. So, we've got to be able to fit right and be where we're supposed to be, and you better wrap up. You can't come in there and shoulder hit. You have to wrap up if you want to bring these guys down.
Scott, kind of looking at the passing game against Syracuse, it seemed that Malik Cunningham didn't seem all that comfortable as a passer sitting in the pocket, kind of keyed on Hudson maybe a little bit too much. Was that something maybe Syracuse was doing defensively, or was it a confidence issue with Cunningham? Why do you think he struggled as much as he did?
Well, I think, if you look at his stat, his completion percentage was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty high. And they made a great play on the deep ball we had to Wiggins, which was open right there. Probably the ball drifted a little bit too far to the right. The backside corner actually is the one that came and made that interception. Heck of an interception by number 8. I thought number 8 played an outstanding game, had a pick and I think 9 tackles. He's a great player, but that was a great play. To me, that was a play that the defense made. And then later on in the game, I thought Malik was forcing it when he threw the last pick. That was 3rd and long. He just forced the ball down the field. You can't do that. Just take what they give you. But his decision making in the run game too could have been better. But I think overall we got to do a better job as coaches. It's not Malik. It's coaches. We got to do a better job of getting the players in positions to make plays so that he can get them the ball to make plays. And I think you brought up Huddy. I mean, I think when we targeted Huddy, he did a pretty good job with it. Got some first downs and got some pretty good yards. But we do have to distribute the ball. We got to get other guys involved. I think get Ford more involved. Against Bruce, I think when he had the 2 catches, he was pretty explosive. When he had his 2 catches, so getting those other guys involved, I think obviously will help.
When you talk about maybe you'd like to see more plays and more chance to get in rhythm at Central Florida, do you pick up your tempo at all, or is it on the defense?
No, I think so. I think that's a good point. Looking back, we should have early in that game. Pick the tempo up, change it up a little bit more, not just methodically just trying to go slow down the field. Change the tempo up, mix it up. I think we did that a little bit in the 3rd quarter, and we were able to move the ball better. With the run pass, going fast, it just puts more pressure on the defense. So yeah, absolutely, we got to do more of that.
Scott, what are you seeing from UCF's defense, and what are some areas or matchups that you really want to key in on?
Well, I think their defense is built on speed. They can run, and a lot of the guys that played last year are back, especially in the secondary. They're not scared to go man. They'll come up in your face and play man-to-man defense on you. They get after it up front, and then they have a really good middle linebacker, number 11, that makes a lot of plays. So experienced defense that is built on speed. And the other thing is we have to be able to win in space. When you think about these one-on-one matchups, you're going to get opportunities. You got to be able to win those one-on-ones. And then we got to be good up front. We have to be able to block the guys up front to be able to create holes when we do run the football. And I thought last year against these guys we were able to do a little bit of both, run and pass. We're going to have to be able to do that. We got to be able to sustain drives. We have to stay on the field. So 3rd downs are going to be important this week. 2 things: to keep our drives going so we can get touchdowns, but also to keep their offense off the field. They have an explosive offense, and we want to try to limit their possessions, because obviously when they have the ball, they're dangerous.
Last 2, Mark and Eric.
Miles and I talked yesterday about how you guys were able to slow them down last year, and also how physical the game was. I mean, how can you slow down, what can you do to
Yeah.
slow them down, and do you expect it to be the same physicality?
It's very challenging to slow him down. You know, he goes fast. He got a tempo offense. Again, you're having to defend all 11 when you have a quarterback like they have, John Rice Plumlee, who can actually run and throw it. I think last week threw for over 300 yards. You know, so you not only have to defend the wideouts who can really run and the running back, but the quarterback. You know, we have to do a great job of tackling in space, because what they're going to try to do is spread you out, create that one-on-one matchup somewhere, and then they got athletes that can run. So we got to do a great job of tackling in space with your one-on-one tackles, and we also need to try to keep them behind the sticks. I think that'll be critical. You know, as long as they're staying on the sticks, they'll be hard to defend. And it was. Last year was a very physical game. I think they came out of that game. They had several injured players after that, 5 injured players, out of that game. And you know, we have to play physical in this game. We have to, you know, and both sides of the ball. Every chance we get, we have to be physical. You know, because obviously they're a speed team. I mean, they can run all over the place, and so we have to be able to use the physicality to try to equalize that.
You talked about everybody coming back and trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
Obvious question, did anybody have anything figured out? And what was your thought on just the energy level of the team? Were you happy with that or not quite? Or how?
Yeah, no, we got to match more energy. I thought they came out with a lot of energy. Syracuse did, and that crowd was electric in there. Whoever was at that game, you know, it was loud and electric, and then they got some good things going too for them, and so it just, you know, made that a little bit more. And I think for us, we got to have some good stuff happen to us early in this game to try to keep their crowd out of it, because we know it'll be loud there. You know, but I do know we have to match the intensity and the energy and the physicality of the football game. You know, you just can't show up and go out there and think you're going to go play well in a football game. To this day and age, anybody will beat you, anybody. And you got to bring that intensity and match that whoever you're playing, but bring it every single time. So no, I was disappointed in that last week. I mean, we got to bring it. We got to have it. We got to have that every time we're on the field. So, you know, hopefully we learned that last week. We'll bring it this week.
All right, Coach.
All right, thanks.